Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 325. So, once again, for the daily update, there are no updates on any of these items. I guess it's also Sunday. Today I actually, for the first day in a while, I worked a bit on the terminal block mining game, a bit off stream. Maybe I'll have to adjust that. I kind of can't read that. So I put togetherness foundry. Let me adjust the chat. I think it's off the screen. Alright, that's better. Now I can read people's messages. So if I put togetherness a foundry, you can build up the best CPUs if I surround you with Japanese and German engineers. Probably the Japanese and German engineers definitely are pretty good. The Germans, they basically invented the early optics. The early photolithography was, I think, from, what was it? Zeiss? I forget that it was a German name, famous German lens manufacturer. How much million do you need to bust NVIDIA Intel? Quite a bit. It'd be probably more than $1 million. I have VA funds and will buy all this old stuff. You can have HX Taco nearby. They make 70% of what we need for lithography. I don't know, competing with, I think making basic stuff to make basic stuff, you can just buy stuff off eBay. And you can make like hobby circuits and stuff. But then to compete with NVIDIA and Intel, that's going to require a lot more money. And then also to do it at volume, to make like billions and billions of CPUs. It's going to be that's another whole task to get the volume. I think it'd be, the best thing would be to start off small. Get military money. Yeah, I mean, if the military wants to send me some money, they can just send it to my PayPal account. They can just send some super chats. But I think they're limited to $500 a day for super chats, though. Still, even a few hundred a day, that would be pretty good. Okay. So for the last quite a few days, I've been kind of stuck on the unit test for this memory chunk loading module. And I spent a lot of today, actually looking at it a bit more, because it's hard to code on stream. And I added some I tried to get a better perspective on the problem, and so I did a whole bunch of changes today. So the whole chunk loading thing, eventually it's going to have to be made redundant so it works with multiple clients. And I was going to do that later after the initial test passed, but I think there's some race conditions that still exist. And to fix those, I just went ahead and actually just made some changes to the in-memory chunks class anyway. And it seems like it works, but the test is still failing. So the change I made today was to put this in a multi-client chunk set, which is basically just a map from the client to the set of chunks. I'm going to find the billions and Germans and Japanese. What are your thoughts on analog and nano engineering? I think that stuff has a lot of potential. That makes no sense. Praise to you. Yeah, I would imagine it makes no sense. Even if you're closely following what I'm doing, it probably makes no sense. But I'm just kind of narrating some keywords about what I'm working on. Thoughts on nano and analog. Analog is interesting because fundamentally every digital computer is just a special case of an analog computer, and there's a discretion noise that's introduced by going, like, digital computers are amazing because you can do error correction, and they were a significant advancement, but at the same time you are giving up a little bit of, like, there's like an information theoretic loss by going from analog to digital. And if you want to get absolutely minimum response times, like the minimum physical response time, and the maximum signal to noise ratio, analog isn't, like, in some cases the only way to do it, is to do the processing in analog. Like for stuff like fiber optic technologies, with like fiber optic amplifiers, you want to do it with like analog laser pumping, as opposed to like detecting a weak signal, putting it through a CPU and then retransmitting it. Because to digitize it and then retransmit it, it's incredibly slow. But if you can do it just as light, then it's the time difference is minuscule. Nano engineering. Before I went to university, actually my original first choice for university was nanotechnology engineering. I think that was what it was called. But apparently it was really competitive, and they were also building a nanotechnology institute, and then I think they said it was actually very competitive. So, like, what's your second choice? And I think I picked software engineering, and I think they even suggested it's too competitive. You should probably just pick software engineering. So I picked that, and I got into that. And then in hindsight, I think most of the nanotechnology people, they struggled to find jobs, and a lot of them just ended up competing for software engineering jobs. And I think the field didn't quite pan out as much as they thought it would. Listening, trying to send you a super chat. No, thank you. Nobody wants to work together. Everyone at UCSD just wants to find their own singular idea to make millions. That's hard to do. Everything's very competitive. And the more I learn about the business world, the more I realize, I think there's a lot of, I think there's way more like anti-competitive motivated people out there. Like there's a huge amount of investment against innovation in like finding talented young people and then investing in them and then blowing up their business so the business never succeeds. And a lot of, I think, way more things are deliberate or accident, or deliberate or unintentional, like traps where you can go way down one pathway and try to build a business and then it ends up going nowhere because of factors outside your control. Had Qualcomm people steal my Chromebook. Tracked it to 2 Qualcomm labs. Corpo espionage. Oh wow. Qualcomm stole your Chromebook? Leader invited me there. Played rugby with the Indians there. Oh, that's quite an interesting story. My area of research now for computational things and quantum mechanical engineering is Kashmir cavity and dynamical Kashmir. Non-rugby cricket. Interesting. Yeah, physics stuff is pretty interesting. I wish I had more time to play around with that stuff. There's a lot more interesting embedded projects that I wish I had time to work on. With dynamical Kashmir effect, it can help us make entangled photons. Yeah, the quantum mechanical stuff is pretty interesting, and it actually seems like we're still in the discovering new things from some of these like really simple experiments. Just want to make our stuff faster and ourselves immortal supergods. Well, that sounds quite challenging, a challenging feat to achieve. Okay, let's try to make some more progress. So one of the reason I did the work I did today was I was adding a bunch of new work items in here, which I think was causing problems in race conditions. coding you do is no different than the potential genetic engineering coding we'll be doing on honeybees or human DNA. I don't know. I think it's fairly different. I don't know. It depends what you mean by no different. Shrooms are close to our is that BRIAN? Close to our Brian? And cannabis plants are as well. I'm skeptical of these claims that you're making. Scheme skill set? Same skill set? The mycelium? I don't know, these claims you're making here. I'm very skeptical of these claims. Okay, let's put these recently discarded chunks in something that'll be I'll process them in the background task. Can't remember what this is for. Okay. Thor Labs is helping to make non-invasive sequencing of DNA with photonics. Interesting. Google has DeepMind AlphaBrain DNA folding. And we have also folding at home. I don't know much about the DNA stuff. It's outside my... I think I actually had that software on my computer, folding at home, back many years ago. That was maybe like 15 years ago. Didn't they shut down some of those? The like protein folding project? I thought it was like superseded by some analytical method that made it way faster. We're just in God's little video game. It's all codes. I'll show you a glowing cannabis plant soon. Impressive. Got super addicted to quantum engineering. It is pretty interesting. You're a legend. Glad to talk to you. Definitely need more of it by everyone. I mean, the DNA stuff. We need quantum computing, LLM, AI, beast mode folding between universes. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds fantastic. Okay, so I guess this set here is for chunks for which there's already an outstanding request, but they're already obsolete. Okay, that's more descriptive now. We'll be back on a different account to send you a tip. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much for the 111. I guess I assume that's Monkey God Super King. I'll send you way more in the future. Oh, thank you. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. post this YouTube channel and stuff on dating apps, you get lots of nerdy girls following you. I don't know. Would I don't even know how. Every time I look up the state of dating apps, it seems like it's always worse. Like there's like AI and bots and stuff. Women be selling their Instagram on there. You sell your YouTube channel. I don't know. From what I've seen recently, the state of dating apps is pretty cooked. To use the popular vernacular these days. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Facebook dating. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical of that. Giordani says, hello there. How's it going? How are you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Just need like five real women. Then they tell their friends, and then they tell their friends or coworkers. Work for others. And it's a problem though. Five real women. That's difficult because everything is just AI and bots. And I don't know. It's people. Information doesn't spread that fast. There's too much. There's too much stuff on the internet. There's too many people. You can easily get like millions of views on a platform and never like people on TikTok have like millions and millions of followers, but they do like a meetup and no one will come. So it's all just bots. Getting a bit better at math. Still get a lot to learn. That's an understatement. There's a lot to learn. There's an infinite amount to learn in math. Good luck, bro. Stay awesome. Check into quantum mechanical engineering to see if anything seems useful. I'm sure there's more than a few things that are worth useful, but it's a difficult field. It's outside my expertise. Gonna go see what happens with these crystals and these lasers. All right, have fun with your crystals and lasers. Make sure to use eye protection though. You don't want to shine a laser in your eye. refer to the amount of things I need to know to be successful at college. Better said, the amount of things I need to don't struggle at. Don't struggle at college. Yeah, it was some of the most difficult courses for me were also math courses. Like the calculus, the advanced calculus ones, Fourier transforms and stuff. It was so like interesting though. I could tell, and even after university, I continued to learn a bit more about Fourier transforms and go over all that stuff. And it's so you could tell there's just so many applications for it, but to really understand it, you have to like do the problem sets, and it would take 6 hours to solve a problem. And it's so easy to make a mistake on like one page, and then 3 pages later, you realize, oh, it was cosine instead of sine. things are really different if you're actually learning things directly from the class for the first time compared to knowing things ahead. You're just reviewing things. Yeah, that's definitely true. It was actually, I remember back when I was studying, like a thing that people always repeat is that it's like you should focus on learning things instead of, like, you should focus on understanding instead of like just rote memorization. But in my experience, which kind of later, it makes a lot more sense. Like how large language models learn makes a lot of sense to me, because I found that a prerequisite to actually understanding the material is like getting all of the vocabulary in your mind first, like learning how to say things, like kind of building your own nonsensical Markov model in your mind, where you can just like say, be able to mindlessly repeat phrases like Fourier transforms and Laplace transforms and -1/2 dB gain and Bode plots and I'll just be able to repeat the terms in like a nonsense way. And then once you can do that, and you can like remember the distinct objects, the tokens of what you're talking about, then you can actually start to think about what they mean and how they relate to each other. And I found that was a lot of the introductory part of the lectures. Just like, not only do I not understand, I can't even like isolate and identify the objects that they're talking about. And that part does kind of help, because you can just listen to like hours and hours of lectures of someone talking about this, gobbledygook mathematics. And when you keep hearing the same phrases over and over again, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's that one phrase that they repeat over and over again. is the only math I'll take without knowing things ahead. Would at least read one or two about whatever math. What math course is it you're taking? It's really hard to quick sentences on phone. When you type all that on phone, I barely use my phone for texting and typing. For that reason, I can't stand typing on the phone. How does this get done? What specifically? Taking applied math. More applied algebra. Of course, sometimes get trivial and easy. Well, that's good. Easy to pass. World Domination. I have, if you check the links, there's a couple links in the descriptions. And that goes through the whole plan in detail. So if you like the plan, you can check those videos out and then become a channel member for $1 a month. discarded may not have been initialized. Oh. Excellent. Did I fix it? Nope. Still broken. I kind of expected that, but at least now it might be more debuggable. Actually, maybe I can fix this. Oh yeah, that's the whole reason I did this. Was that I could do this. Wait, this might fix it. Man, still broken. guess that's false. So maybe that's a clue. All right, I made a tiny bit of progress tonight. I feel like I've been spinning my wheels on this specific task for a while, but maybe I'll focus a bit more on it tomorrow during the day to kind of push through this. And then there's some of the more it's hard to kind of debug all these concurrency issues on stream. It's hard to code and talk to chat, but it's also hard to code and debug concurrency race conditions. Let's see. So tomorrow, I guess I'll take a look at so this flag. This implies that one of those arrays or collections of chunks is not empty, which it should be. So that's something I can take a look at and debug why it is that way. All right, that'll be it for tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow night for day 326. All right, have a good night, everyone.